and all this dumb shit, please. Oh my God. Okay, here it is.
The Conservative Political Action Conference, or CPAC, kicks off in Texas. Now, the usual speakers will be there: Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, Ted Cruz, and so on. But so will a controversial foreign leader, Hungary's Viktor Orban, whose government is accused of undermining women's rights, LGBT rights, controlling the media, and much, much more. CNN's Ben Wiedemann is live in Budapest. Ben?
Wait, why is he in Budapest? Why did they... Wait, what? Orban's in America, so we sent the guy to Budapest. What? I don't even understand. Like, he's familiar with local politics, maybe? Yeah, probably.
John, despite all of that, even the critics of the prime minister here concede that over the last 12 years, some of his policies have managed to help improve the lot of many Hungarians. Yet despite that, of late, as the economy has begun to falter, Viktor Orban has resorted to rhetoric reminiscent of some of the darkest days in this country's history.
You could call it a meeting of like minds.
I love that someone said the CIA should do a op in Hungary. And do what? Make him more popular? Like, what do you think the CIA does? Just because yesterday I talked about how the CIA works with everyone doesn't mean that they also have, like, their ultimate ideological goals are never going to be on the in line with the left, dude. No, they work with everyone to achieve reactionary goals. You understand?
Video from his official Facebook page shows Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban visiting former President Donald Trump Tuesday at his Bedminster, New Jersey golf club. On his way to this week's Conservative Political Action Conference in Texas, the hard-right anti-immigrant prime minister recently set off alarm bells with a speech laced with sinister undertones.
Oh, this is the one where he talks about miscegenation, right? This is a wild one. I love that the conservatives are like using Orban as a guy to point to. Like Tucker Carlson loves him, right? They're using him as a guy to point to because he can say stuff that they want to be able to openly say, but they can't really say themselves. Because, like, no matter how much Tucker Carlson goes crazy talking about, like, how immigrants are vermin or whatever the fuck, how they're dirty. These are things that Tucker Carlson has said. He can't openly say, like, you know, race mixing is bad, right? But he can point to Viktor Orban, who's saying race mixing is bad, and go, that's a really good guy. That's a really good guy. He's saying a lot of crazy stuff.
We Europeans, Orban said, are willing to mix with one another, but we do not want to become peoples of mixed race. He has since come out and
it's just like weird to say this, and I'm about to offend the entirety of Hungary, but like Hungarians, European, are you? I mean, it is a social construct, I guess, but like, what's up? Listen, brother. Listen. Not to get all fucking Turk-pilled right now, but I think you should know your place, considering that you are closer to Turks, ethnically speaking, than you are to Europeans, I would say. Historically speaking, this notion that you are hugging and kissing Europe and saying, oh, we like to mix with the Europe. Yes. You know. I'm just saying. Homies became white like last year, and they're acting out of pocket, you know? They are close to Finns from Finland. Okay, same with fucking Finns. What do you mean? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, close to Finns like in Finland? Oh, shit. I didn't realize. That extends to fucking Finland, too. Shut the fuck up. They are closer to the people of the steppe than they are to the fucking Europeans and the Anglo-Saxons and shit like that. But anyway, this is also a hilarious concept when you fucking this is also a hilarious concept when you break it down to it, because he says like Europeans want to mix with other Europeans but not with like everybody else. This is like when the white kid gets accepted by the black kid group and acts crazy. Anyway, Hungary literally means land of the Huns because Attila founded them. I mean, he's not like, I don't know what, are we doing race theory? It's not even race. He's doing the race theory, but he's not even doing right race theory. That's my point. Like, all of this stuff is bullshit. None of it fucking matters. But it's really funny when the guy who's not even like subscribing to the European, like white, Anglo-Saxon centric norms that he is fucking advocating for. That's the point. He quite literally comes from a incredibly diverse multi-ethnic society. Okay? Now, our understanding of race in contemporary history revolves around like the Portuguese and then the American understanding of race, you know, the American adaptation of the Portuguese slavers' understanding of race. But that is a more complicated conversation. We're not going to have that conversation. What he's trying to fucking say currently is literally just that, like, the European, we want to mix with European. Like, he's using that. He's using, like, the white-centric the attitude surrounding race as a Hungarian person, which is funny because he doesn't necessarily subscribe to it personally. Anyway, that's it. That's all I was going to say.
Insisting he isn't racist or anti-Semitic. The damage, however,
He definitely is anti-Semitic, by the way. The idea that he's not is fucking ridiculous.
is done.
Viktor Orban's talk about
Most of this, we don't want to mix, originates from the fact that Hungarians have never actually won a war. All the L's we took throughout history have made this national pride, literal Nazi racism, kind of the way to go. You can see it live and alive when you come to the U.S. and talk to fresh off the boat Hungarians. Yeah, it's just funny to be like Hungarian and be like, no, we do not want to mix. It's like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, who haven't you mixed with? You know what I mean? Like, my point is, if I'm the sluttiest person at high school, I would rather probably want to fucking advocate for sexual liberation rather than just be like, yeah, it's actually the worst thing you can do. Okay? The worst thing you could do is have sex with people. For Hungary, that's the point. They are an incredibly diverse people. And the idea that like it's the idea that it's there's like this Aryan based or fucking Eurocentric racial construct that they want to abide by is a ridiculous one. Which, by the way, I know what he's saying when he says that. He's just saying like no black people, no brown people. He doesn't want Muslims. That's it. The Hungarians are already mixed with Slavs, Turks, Germans, while our ancestors came from Asia. That's what I mean. They just think that like because they're fucking Christian, they think that because they're Christian, it's like different now. It's very different.
racial mixing, about racial purity, stir up dark, still fresh memories. These metal shoes commemorate the spot where, in the final months...
And yes, they don't like Turks. Understandable, okay? It's understandable to have resentment against Turkish people if you're Hungarian.
...of World War II, Hungarian Nazis murdered thousands of Jews.
It's time for evening prayer in Budapest's historic Dohányi Street Synagogue. Rabbi Robert Froh.
Bro, remember when, by the way, remember when Donald Trump had a dude in his White House that had the largest head of all fucking time? Do Turks have resentment for Romanians? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not even, no, that is in your mind. If you think that Turks have any fucking... Turks have resentment towards Greek people. Turks hate fucking Armenian people and Greek people, and obviously Kurdish people. But if you think that like Turks give a fuck about like the Vlad the Impaler or some shit, no, they don't give a fuck. Not even remotely. That is an invention that you have cultivated in your mind. But which is weird because Romanians have resentment for Turks. Of course Romanians have resentment for Turks. Because, you know, the Ottoman Empire fucking spanned across that entire area. Yeah, Turks will openly admit to shitting on Greeks, openly admit to shitting on Arabs, openly admit to shitting on Armenians. That's it. Do Turkish people care about the Bulgarians at all? No, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Like, not even a little bit. Or like Vlad the Impaler, anything like that. No, not even remotely. But yeah, so remember, the point I was going to make is, remember when Donald Trump had Sebastian Gorka in the White House, and he literally, on Donald Trump's inauguration, wore a Vitesse Rend pin that his father had? Just remember how they were on the site of where all those Jews were massacred? Yeah, that's Sebastian Gorka's grandfather, or his father, actually.
Nazis murdered thousands of Jews.
That's like an American dude wore a fucking pin celebrating this action. Okay? An American in the White House wore a pin celebrating this action. And he stayed in the White House for a while. He still does. Hold on. He still does commentary. Like, it's not even a thing. Sebastian Gorka made Nazi-linked Vitesse Rend proud by wearing its medal. Controversy has swirled around Sebastian Gorka, the president's top counterterrorism advisors, ever since he's a top counterterrorism advisor. Bro, what's he gonna do? Fucking... They make him the top counterterrorism advisor because he has the largest head? What is he going to headbutt every fucking head of a terror cell? Is that how he's going to... How is he the counterterrorism advisor? Okay. Anyway, ever since he attended the president's January 20th inaugural ball wearing the honorary medal of Hungarian nationalist organization Vitesse Rend, NBC News traveled to Hungary to dig deeper in the Gorka's ties with the group, speaking with members of the organization as well as locals who knew him when he lived there. Like, there it is, bro. Man, this shit was, 2016 was fucking wild, bro. They were just like straight up saying that they were Nazis and stuff. It was crazy.
It's time for evening prayer in Budapest's historic Dohány Street Synagogue. Rabbi Robert Froelich says Orban's words hit too close to home.
You saw the small congregation here who come here every evening, every morning to pray. They are older people. Most of them are Holocaust survivors. They are worried. They heard this before. And it didn't end well.
Often described as an authoritarian, Orban has been in power for the last 12 years, re-elected in April. His economic policies have won him support, but with inflation rising, that's beginning to change, says economist Zoltán Pogácsa.
In the longer run, yes, I think Orban remains popular, but in this particular point in time, I think more people are skeptical about him than ever before.
in Budapest's central market.
By the way, this is one of the things that people don't understand, even about Turkey as well. And I know Hassan always bringing shit back to Turkey, but it's like these dudes, regardless of how fucking right wing or how reactionary or how authoritarian they are, will often have a fuckload of people that like counter him, right? But they also have a fuckload of people that support him. Half the time when we talk about like countries, okay, half the time we talk about countries that are not the United States of America, where they have like authoritarian, autocratic leadership, Americans fail to consider that those leaders unironically are more popular than democratically elected American leaders. And that is the sad fucking truth, okay? Same with Erdogan, who's finally at the tail end of his fucking like almost 30-year regime, and his power is finally fucking waning. Even with Duterte, yes, and certainly with Orban as well. Americans fail to comprehend that, like, you know, we got a fucking tiny percentage of the population that is voting, okay? And even then, they don't really like the fucking president, or they don't really like the party. Meanwhile, when you look to countries like this, they got ride or die homies that are like, no, I love this guy. I fucking love this guy. Yeah, same with Xi, same with fucking Putin, same with Recep Tayyip Erdogan, and certainly same with Viktor Orban as well. So don't try to comprehend this with like an American perspective. If you're trying to understand like these guys, how do they get away with being so authoritarian? Is it the authoritarianism that is like leading to them being so popular? No, outside of the flow of information being carefully controlled, same with Turkey and same with Hungary as well. Outside of the flow of information being carefully controlled, these guys are also popular. Now, it might be because they are controlling the information carefully, but there is definitely genuine momentum and genuine support for people like this as well.
Opinions vary.
To be honest, Viktor Orban is not...
And by the way, I don't mean like Donald Trump. I mean like popular, okay? You have never seen, as an American, in your lifetime, you've never seen a popular leader, okay? You've just never seen a popular leader. Like maybe George W. Bush post 9/11. For the brief moment. Like that's a popular leader, okay? Like we're talking 50% of the country unconditionally supporting this person. That's like FDR. I thought Turks didn't really like Erdogan. No, dude. The Turks in this chat don't like Erdogan because they're Western-facing Turks. Of course, Turks in this chat don't like Erdogan, but Turkey is so much larger. It's 90 million people. Yeah, go to Trabzon and see if they fucking like Erdogan or not. You know what I mean? Like, for the longest time, Recep Tayyip Erdogan genuinely had 50% of the country locked down. Then he had to build a coalition with MHP, with the ultra-nationalist party, to maintain a 50% coalition. And even then now he's like pretty fucking popular. Donald Trump was popular like that, though. I don't like him, but still, no. Bitch, Donald Trump couldn't even win the popular vote. What do you mean Donald Trump was popular like that? Get the fuck out of here. You guys have no clue what this means, okay? Donald Trump lost the popular vote to Hillary Clinton. What a fucking loser, dude. Can you imagine losing the popular vote to Hillary motherfucking Clinton, dude? Y'all are clueless. This is on a different level, okay? The only reason why I'm describing this to you, and that same divide between rural and urban voters exists in places like Turkey as well. By the way, if you're an American, I'm trying to explain this to you in American concepts. Like, you look at like motherfuckers living in like, you know, Arkansas and shit, and you're like, why do they like Donald Trump or can land vote or whatever? Now imagine if there was enough people that actually were fucking voting. We'll never say Erdogan or Orban stole or bribed or brute forced an election wins, but we hear stuff like that constantly about Xi. Well, it's because it's one party. It's different. But basically, the approval. That's why I said in our lifetime, stop saying Reagan, Chad. I'm talking about our fucking lifetimes. Most people, what do you mean? Who was around during Reagan? Like, what the fuck? How many people in this chat were around? I know you guys are going to say, yes, me, but like, what the fuck? The reality is that most people in America just don't vote. Even if they have the capability of voting, they just don't give a shit. Most people are completely removed. And that is by design. They're completely removed from political action, taking political action in any meaningful capacity. They have no history. They have no association of with any semblance of political action. There's no mechanism to do political action through. So we have a completely neutered populace that does not even care about it. Okay? It is a feature, not a bug. Exactly. So it is very hard to comprehend what it would look like. It is very hard to comprehend what that would look like in a country. And that, by the way, it's also made difficult purposefully as well. Like making voting as difficult as fucking possible. Okay? And the only reason why the 2020 election is a different election than any other election is because voting was made easy. It wasn't even because of like out of pure hatred for Donald Trump. It was because voting was made easy. If voting was made easier, yes, things would be very different.
Like in our own country.
Margareta Krajnek, the butcher, begs to differ. Viktor Orban is doing everything for his people, she says. He loves his people. Evening and city residents savor the soft breezes off the Danube. History flows through this city, the past never far from the surface.
And with a possible recession on the horizon, the fear is the Prime Minister is looking for scapegoats, something this part of Europe has seen in the past. John?
Ben Wiedemann, look at illiberal democracy and the echoes of history. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I got to go to... I want to go to Hungary and
the trial of Alex.
Take a look at some of those castles that were overtaken by the Ottoman Empire. You know what I'm saying?